I don't know, man. I'm so frustrated right now. I spent so much time today cutting up these video clips, going through, trying to find these old ones. I'm just so aggravated, Broke Ape. You have no idea. Hey, Lizzie. Yeah, I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Frustrating. Okay. Lizzie, hopefully you heard me say, hey, Lizzie. Hut2 says we can hear. Man, this is just so demoralizing. Broke Apes, give me a thumbs up. And the audio's okay? It's not echoey at all? I feel so bad, man. Just like dropping the stream like that. Hatu, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Tom says sounds good. How you doing, Tom? Good to see you, man. Man, were all you guys on before the live cut? Or did you guys just hop on when I re-entered? Re-entered the stratosphere. Lizzie says it's fine. Lizzie, were you on the last stream? Tom, you guys, Hatu? I didn't see any of you guys in the chat earlier. Unless I was just really, really far behind. All right, here comes the moment of truth. I'm going to try to pull a video. Oh, Tom says just hopped on. All right. This is impromptu, Tom. I just had another live stream going, but it wasn't allowing me to do anything. No, okay, so you guys just all came on randomly? Wow. So you guys just all got a notification that I came on live now, but not the live stream I just did for the last 2 hours? Hut2 says he was listening earlier. Lizzie says, me too. All right. Hut2 said, yep. Yeah. I get that all the time, that you guys aren't getting notifications about live streams. They're not going to Twitter, all kinds of bullshit. They demonetized the last 2 live streams we did, and the last 2 videos I put up. The 2 live streams were partial, which, whatever. I don't add commercials during the live streams, as you guys know. I just feel like it's a pain in the ass. But, yeah, and then they demonetized the last 2 videos that I made, the one about Chicago and the one about the border. Broke Ape says he gets all notifications. Yeah, Broke Ape, yeah, you usually always find me, man. Yeah. Lizzie says she didn't get the first one, yeah. Hatu, how you been, man? Good to see you in the chat. One of my OGs. Yeah, Broke Ape, I know. Yeah, you always get them somehow. I don't know what you do differently than everyone else. Hatu said, man, it's good to hear. Glad you're still rocking. All right, I'm just gonna. I don't know if we're gonna get anyone else from the last live stream. I'm lucky they got the notifications for the last one, so I'm kind of gonna pick up where we left off. And where I left off was we were talking about Gensler in front of Congress this week, and I was about to show the video from yesterday between Patrick McHenry and Gensler. So I had to cut it into 2 smaller videos because how big of a file it was. So we're gonna watch them back to back. All right. Hopefully I don't lose you guys.
Will now recognize myself for a few minutes. Chair Gensler, last time we were here, I asked you about Ether. And In 2018, you say that Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash are not securities. So I want to focus on Bitcoin. Why do you believe Bitcoin is not a security?
Thank you, Chair. And I think you're referencing remarks I made as a professor at MIT. And as I wrote in that paper at that time, it was really about something called the Howey test. And the Supreme Court, it's the law of the land, talks about if the public is anticipating a profit based on the efforts of others. And as I think I noted in that paper back in 2018, I didn't see that Bitcoin met
your view on Bitcoin, you've made comments on this. You believe Bitcoin is not a security. Is that true?
Well, I think the staff of the SEC have also,
What's amazing to me is they just had this conversation. If you're on the last live stream, they just had this conversation 2 months ago, and he's still coming here in front of Congress empty-handed.
prior
Well,
chair.
I'm just asking you this. This is not a gotcha. I thought this was going to be an easy softball into harder questions.
Oh, no.
Do you think Bitcoin is a security?
No, I think I've said this in the past that I think that it doesn't
I'm asking
meet
you
the
to
Howey
answer
test.
my question now. This is not supposed to be hard.
I know. I said it
Just
does
to answer-
not meet the Howey test, which is the
Okay.
law of the land about being an
So
investment
it doesn't meet the
contract or
Howey test.
security.
So therefore, it's a commodity. Is that fair?
I would say it's not a security, and then the test is otherwise for other
Okay.
law.
Well, the CFTC says they don't have the authority over Bitcoin and digital commodities. Do you think legislation is necessary to protect consumers in the world of digital assets, in particular, given that gap around just Bitcoin?
I think, as I've testified here in this committee room 4 years ago as a private citizen, that for the parts of the crypto ecosystem that are not securities, though under the Commodities Exchange Act, the CFTC has some anti-fraud authorities.
I have a bigger theory about what's going on here with crypto and what happened with FTX. Well, we'll talk about it after this finishes.
They don't have what's called plenary authority to write rules around that. And as I've said in the past, I'm supportive of our sister agency, if I can say that, an agency that I once was honored to chair and I like quite a bit, doesn't have plenary authority, and if Congress move forward.
That's part one. Let me put up the next part. And then we'll talk about the whole thing. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. This is where we lost it last time. Okay, looks like we're okay.
So, spot market lacks a regulatory paradigm and established law. So, should we take action there?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I follow. The U.S. stock market you're talking about, the securities
No, the
market?
CFTC. I'm continuing with your answer. My follow-up there was because there's not a regulatory remit that Congress has given them, clear regulatory remit, we should step in. So let me just move on. I've talked about your non-compliance with document requests made by this committee.
Okay, so remember, just 2 months ago, he was here sitting in front of McHenry, and McHenry had clearly said, I want these documents.
I believe the commission must vote in order to produce non-public information to this committee. Do you not?
Under the Exchange Act, I do believe that the commission needs
So,
that vote.
have you scheduled a vote necessary to provide the non-public documents to this committee?
We, I think, have been working with your staff and believe in oversight of this committee, we've provided somewhere over 40,000 pages
Yes,
of
nothing,
documents.
as I said in my opening statement, nothing that was non-public did you provide. In fact, you produced one of the letters that we wrote to you as responsive documents. It showed the absurdity of it. So the General Counsel's office has indicated to my staff that after a 10-week review process, these documents are ready to be transmitted. It just needs a vote. When do you intend to schedule that vote?
we continue to work with you and your staff. We've had, the commission has approved that some senior staff will be taking transcribed interviews, I think, with your staff, and we.
But that is not responsive to my document requests. This should not be the hard work of a chairman to answer these questions. You have 30 major rulemakings, but you won't even provide basic documents to us. Your unresponsiveness is non-compliance, and we'll have to take action if you're not willing to comply. You have a 10-week review process, and you've not provided documents. Furthermore, you haven't even done the economic analysis of your interplay of these major rulemakings that are going to affect anybody who owns a stock, bond, or any type of security. And so you've got serious questions to answer to the public and to Congress, and we intend to get your compliance. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. And with that, I yield back.
Okay. Looks like we've got a couple other people who joined us. So 2 months ago, they asked for these documents, and the SEC sent them over 40,000 public documents that Congress already has access to. That is not what they are asking for. And Gensler knew he was coming back to do this testimony. So he is in non-compliance with Congress. Now, one of you guys said the other night, you know, this seems all like a dog and pony show to me. We were talking about Chip Roy and Michael, what's going on, man? We were talking about Chip Roy, and we were talking about some of the other congressmen. And, you know, I've said this a couple times, I think. You know, there's maybe a handful, maybe a dozen congressmen and women who I have a little bit of faith in, that they're actually out there representing the constituents from where they are, from their home state or wherever. You know, Thomas Massey would be one of them, Rand Paul. You know, I got a lot of questions about a lot of other people out there, right? I like Kennedy. I think he's no nonsense. Now, this guy McCarthy, McHenry, sorry. Patrick McHenry, what state is he from? I want to say Virginia. Oh, he's from North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. Now, I don't know for sure whether this guy is colluding with the rest of Congress and taking advantage of their position to make money in the market. Now, certainly, we know there are a lot of congressmen out there who are doing that right now, all the way up to the Speaker of the House, right? So when we talk about a dog and pony show, I would say a lot of the times that's correct, that a lot of this is back and forth nonsense BS, except for the couple congressmen out there who are somewhat legit, don't have any, they don't have any interest in the market, or they have nothing at risk there. They are not colluding with any, you know, taking donations from the hedge funds or anything like that. They might have other donors, and they may have other ways of raising money from lobbyists, but maybe it's just not from Wall Street. So I do think some of this is legit. I do believe, like, that guy, I could be 100% wrong, right? I could be totally wrong.
The spot market lacks a regulatory paradigm. Talked about your non-regulatory remit. We should step.
He just, he sounds like he's legit upset that this guy's coming here again empty-handed.
Regulatory remit that Congress has given them, clear regulatory remit, we should step in. So let me just move on. I've talked about your non-compliance with document requests made by this committee. You believe the commission must vote in order to produce non-public information to this committee. Do you not?
Under the Exchange Act, I do believe that the commission needs
so,
that vote.
Have you scheduled a vote necessary to non-public documents to this committee?
We, I think have been working with your staff and believe in oversight of this committee. We've provided somewhere over 40,000.
Yes. Nothing, I said in my opening statement, nothing that was non-public did you provide. In fact, you produced one of the letters that we wrote to you as responsive documents. It showed the absurdity of it.
Again, to me, that seems like he's legit upset that this guy is dicking him around. Jerry, what's going on, man? Jerry says somebody has Gensler by the balls. We need somebody to roll over. Yeah, Jerry, definitely 100%. All right, so let's get back to what I was saying about the crypto and the FTX scandal, because Senator Kennedy was 100% correct, right? He said you could have at any time filed an injunction and shut their ass down until you answers. And more than likely, look at that guy, Bankman-Fried, was doing a junket tour, a press tour, going on people's podcasts. Him and his girlfriend there, who was running the hedge fund, they were out doing interviews and going on podcasts and all kinds of stuff. So had the SEC just sent down one of their young people, I'm sure they could have found out very quickly that this was a giant Ponzi scheme. Now, why would Gary Gensler not want to investigate FTX and SBF? Why? That's the question, right? We know he didn't do it. And he has every answer in the book, right? When he's talking to Kennedy, he gave him every excuse you could possibly imagine. Just because you guys already missed it, I'm just going to play a little bit of the end of it again.
Reeks with arrogance you for a day. You could have sent down one investigator from the FT with an ego like Mr. Bankman-Fried and said, I want to send someone down from the SEC and let them just watch you for a day. And he probably would have welcomed you in. I mean, his dad is a chaired professor at Stanford Law School. Where was Stanford? But where was the SEC? I mean, this was an accident waiting to happen. And I don't understand where the SEC was. Do that. That's what we pay you folks to do until they can answer some very basic, fundamental.
This is where he asked for the injunction.
Somebody down, I guarantee you, with his ego, Mr. Bankman-Fried would have welcomed you. Okay, he probably would have asked you to bring a film crew. You just send an investigator down, spend a half a day with these young people, come back, and go get an injunction. Shut them down until they can answer some very basic, fundamental questions. Like, for example, were they commingling funds? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't you do that? That's what we pay you folks to do.
Well, again,
I mean, I get all the Wells letter and all that. We've got tens of thousands of people that lost a lot of money. And they look at this young man and they go, how did the regulatory authorities allow this guy to function? I mean, his Secret Service name is Butthead. That's how bad he is. Where was the SEC?
And again, sir, I can't speak to one enforcement matter like that, but let me just broadly
Boy, it's
say
a big one.
This whole field,
How possibly could he not be able to speak to the FTX scandal? The biggest ripoff, besides the derivatives in 2008. How can the SEC chair not be able to answer specific questions about that?
whole crypto field is built on models that we wouldn't allow in traditional securities markets of commingling, the commingling that you're
Then why
mentioning.
did you allow FTX?
And we've.
Why did you allow FTX?
We've vigorously, we investigate by the book. You, I'm sure, and the American public want us to follow the facts, follow the law, properly give people subpoenas. They get lawyered up. They give us replies. They do effectively burn clock, and on average, it
You could have
takes
gotten
time.
an injunction, half a day.
Oh, the fucking smirk at the end, too. The smirk at the end. Let me say hey to some people in the chat that just came back. And if you lost the earlier stream, my apologies. I'm so sorry. God damn. I'm just glad you guys made it back because I spent a lot of time trying to prep for this tonight. 1796 Patriot, what's going on, man? He says, I'm almost caught up, Mass. Came in about 10 minutes after you started the second time. Thanks, man. Michael 1, what's going on, bro? Ellie is back. Sorry, Ellie. RW says audio is effed. Ah, shit. We got bad audio too? Mike? Did I lose volume? It looks like it's back. I think I can see it. Hold on. Let me just make sure we are proper here. Broke Ape says ignore it, Mash. You're fine. You know me, Broke Ape. If it's echoey and I hear it on playback, I'm going to freak. Let me just see real quick. All right, let me see. No, the audio is good, man. Please, if the audio doesn't sound like it's echoing, that's just the room I'm in. Ellie says, whatever happened to the FTX tokenized shares? Okay, so to this, it's a good question, Ellie. They just liquidated all of their whatever they had left after their collapse. Everything got liquidated, I believe, last week. They released all of their cryptocurrency that they had left into the market, which is why we saw that big dip. All right, so getting back to why. What is the reason for this? Why would Gensler not go after FTX? You got people like Mark Cohodes who were out there saying that there was something going on here. It sounded like a Ponzi scheme. On a little, podcast show. He's going around doing all these press junkets, going on with investment channels. He's got Matt Kors working for him and everybody else who just got sued. Meet Kevin, Tom Nash, all those dickheads who pushed FTX on retail investors, which is like, even to me, that's like the bigger crime, right? That they did that. Because I expect this shit from the SEC. I expect them to turn a blind eye. I expect Congress not to grill Gary Gensler. I expect people like SBF, if they're donating $20 million to Maxine Waters' re-election campaign, I expect her to be hugging him and doing photo ops and writing nice articles about him in the New York Times. I don't expect that to come from YouTubers who have built up an audience, brought them along, onto their shows, and then pump something that they probably knew beforehand was no good, right? So, I mean, that also makes me mad. All right, but getting back to why did Gary Gensler not go after SBF? Because that would have been a huge case for the SEC and probably a pretty easy one to wrap up, right? They probably wouldn't have had to do that much work with this idiot. I mean, he went on and he went on to these podcasts and talked about what he was doing, and the people who were interviewing him were explaining to him how that doesn't make any sense. And, you know, their final words would be like, hey, man, jail's not that bad. Like he was being mocked online. And again, those YouTubers all got sued. Good. They should get sued. Hopefully, that's a lesson to all YouTubers about pushing shit like that, right? Anything that you might think. Now, I understand there's a difference with, you know, if you're promoted, right? If like it's something you're selling, that's legit. But FTX, everyone knew it was a scam. Everybody knew it was a scam. Regular Potato says, I'm back. Ellie is back. Michael 1 says, I agree. RW says, no, Gensler and the SEC. And the SEC needs and has no answer. Yeah, I know. So why? That's the big question. Why? And if you look, I think all the timing of this is extremely strange. The testifying that took place this week, Ken Griffin going on live last week when Dumb Money got released, and the two major fines we just saw to two of the biggest funds, right? So, as you guys know, Gary used to work at Goldman for 20 years, right? So he's still got a lot of buddies at Goldman. And someday he's going to enter back into the free world and out of the swamp. And he's going to be looking for either somewhere to land or someone to give him speaking fees to come to their brokerage and talk to their employees. So this was from last week. So as we said, Citadel got fined $7 million and Goldman got fined $6 million. And Gary used to work at Goldman. Now that was over a 10-year period, right? That those trades were going. So how much illicit money and profit were they able to make from that? Who knows? I do know. Let me see if I still have it. Hang on one sec. I looked it up earlier. I might still have the. Do I still have it? Yeah. Let me put this up on the screen for you so you guys can see. Okay. Is that up on the screen right now? No, it doesn't look like it. All right, never mind. I'm going to lose you guys. That'll probably be the end of my YouTube career, honestly. But I do have the number, so I can give that to you at least. Oh, I know how I can show it to you. Hang on. I can do trouble. So from the period that they were fined up until now, yeah, this is it. I actually have a chart too. 459 billion was the number. 459 billion. For the 10 years that these fines be spread out, well, when they were committing these illegal actions. See something here. Boom. So this is from Statista. These are their numbers from the last 10 years. Starting back in 2011 with the 28 billion. And then they kind of like that whole time from what's that 2011 till 15, 16, 17, they were right in the ballpark of anywhere between 34 and say 36 million, right? Looking at average of somewhere around, I don't know, 31 million there. Look at the last 4 years though, leaking into this year. $6 million in fines. It's just nuts. I mean, what's the point of why even bother? Why even bother? Why bother? Because it looks good, right? It looks good with the scenario that we find ourselves in right now, as far as the movie and I know this, a lot of people are saying, oh no, you're crazy, you're way off with this, but I truly do believe that they came out to address this because they were going to get some backlash. A lot of people forgot or didn't even know what happened back in 2021. And I think they knew that it was going to get people fired up. And what better way to quiet down the plebes than bringing fines to Citadel and GOLDMAN for the exact reasons that retail has been saying, especially with Citadel, with the reg show and the way that they're marking their positions. I mean, we've been talking about that for 2.5 years now. And everyone was saying, oh, shut up. They can't, that's not going on. I totally believe that none of these things are coincidence. So getting back to why did Gensler do this? Why did Gensler turn a blind eye? I really, truly believe they wanted to crash a major, because they were allowing SBF to pick up all of these other crypto exchanges that were going belly up, right? He was allowed to be able to get all those, take those in, just like Griffen bailed out Plotkin and Melvin, right? He was in there bailing people out left and right. Now, yeah, he was donating a lot of money to everyone from, Maxine Waters is the head of the finance committee in the House, right? She is the top dog. That was her hearing, the GameStop hearing from March of 2021. That was her rodeo, right? That was her show. But we know she got one of the biggest donations of anyone that SBF donated to. Now, there's a little clip that I have in the video that I'm uploading for tomorrow of Ken Griffin talking to, I forget which broadcaster it was, but he was talking to somebody, I believe from CNBC, about Sam Bankman-Fried and the lose Trump category of his donations. Now, I don't really give a shit what his political affiliation is. I don't really care what Ken Griffin's political affiliation is. What I do know is that there is absolutely a reason why, besides just wanting to take these campaign donations from SBF, but the way he was pumping the ESG and all of that stuff, right? That it was like he was playing ball in order for them to continue to look away. Why do you do that? You do that if you want to extract all the faith from retail in cryptocurrency, right? How many people got burnt from FTX and are now not going to mess with Bitcoin or anything else? And if now you come out, let's say a year or two later, the federal government with a digital currency, you might be a little skeptical because of what happened with SBF. But I think that opens the door for them to regulate it to the point where it's no longer we can't use it anymore. They'll say it's dangerous or it's a threat to the republic or a threat to national security, right? We have a CBDC if you want crypto. It's the only real reason I can come up with that they would want to willfully allow an entity like this to completely collapse. I just slowed down like crazy. It's the only thing I can come up with. But yeah, the fines to Goldman, I mean, look, that's his buddy. He worked there for 20 years. That's not a mystery. Everyone knows that, right? I was talking about that a year and a half ago when we had a bunch of idiots on YouTube saying that, you know, Gary Gensler was coming to save retail. The whole March 3rd nonsense, transparency. Super Steven, bro, I just got the comments back up, man. Sorry. But yeah, it makes sense to me that they would allow this thing to go belly up because it zaps. It's a good reason for them to heavily regulate. They'll say, look what happened to FTX, and FTX went after retail traders, right? Because Matt Kors and Tom Nash and Meet Kevin and all these guys pushed it onto retail. A legit cryptocurrency that works just fine, you know, if you have it on a cold wallet or, you know, going through a proper exchange. But this to me seemed on purpose. There was just way too many red flags going up. The fact that Tom Nash, Meet Kevin, and Matt Kors are pushing it is really all you need to know to say, I'm good, right? Like that should have been your first warning sign that there were problems. Super Steven, put your comment up again, bro, because I honestly didn't see it. Candace says, if he worked at Goldman, was he there when they were doing this stuff they got fined for? No, Candace. He was at the CFTC before, and then he was at MIT and Harvard teaching classes with Sam Bankman-Fried's father on how to implement blockchain into the stock market to make it more fair and to level the playing field for everyone. He was teaching a course. I've watched it. It's about 2 hours long at MIT. I don't know if it was like the first course he ever did there, but yeah. He's been talking about linking the market to blockchain for 5 or 6 years. I think that that class he taught was from maybe like 2000, I want to say like 18 or 17, somewhere in there. They know how to make the stock market fair. They know how to implement the technology already as we speak. And going back to the CBDCs, I just saw yesterday or 2 days ago that Australia just launched their cryptocurrency. Shin, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? It's been a rough night, bro. Been one rough night. Just malfunction after malfunction after the mic won't work or the audio won't work or the feed gets dropped. I need to get a new computer, man, badly. My processor is seen better days. Super Season says off talk Massalorian, but just got out of the theater of Saw X and wow. Oh, good news. All right. I was hoping Saw was going to be good. This is one rivals the original. What? Was insanely impressed. Not for everyone, but if you're a Saw fan, it's a musty. I'm a big Saw fan, Super Steven. Good. That's good. I love Jigsaw. I'm a big fan of Jigsaw. 1796 Patriot says, shit. They don't even regulate what they have been supposed to for decades. How are they going to regulate another whole market? Yeah, so that was another thing, 1796 Patriot, right? I mean, he's got every excuse in the book, right? That, well, what happens is we go... Now, Kennedy made a great point. He could have, in the drop of a dime, sent someone down the flight, served them with an injunction, and shut it down until they figured out what was going on. And I bet you within 24, 48 hours, they would have seen this was a gigantic Ponzi scheme about to collapse. But again, if you can convince the public that this is no good for you, and at the same time, all these members of Congress can reap the benefits of the money coming in from it, and SBF is out there promoting ESG at the same time, right? I think they let it happen on purpose, and I think Gensler knew. I think CBDC is coming, probably sooner than later. Especially now after what happened in Canada, after they just had an actual Nazi. You can't make this shit up. Had an actual Nazi on the House floor in Parliament get a standing ovation while calling the truckers Nazis. Wild. Wild. I just can't. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You can't. You can't. God, Trudeau is just such a toolbox. That's good, Super Steve. I'm glad Saw was good, man. I'm definitely gonna go see it. I'm a big Saw fan, so that's good. I'm glad it was rivaled the first one. That's gonna be me. I love the first one, but if it rivals it, great. I hope it does great in the theaters. Michael 1 says, "Yep, can't make this shit up." Exactly right. No, can't. Can't. It's so nutty. It's so nutty. And then I found out yesterday that Christina Freeland, who is, I think she's the Minister of the Interior or Finance. I can't remember which one, but her family suffered really bad, I guess, during World War II. Her parents, who were German, right? And they suffered at the hands of the Russians. And the more I sit back and learn about what's going on right now, I truly believe that some of these people who have infiltrated the cabinets of the Western nations through the WEF and Klaus Schwab, right? He's been pretty open about that. That's not a mystery anymore. We got him on our own fucking cabinet. Pete Booty Ass is a WEF young leader. The more you look back into some of these people's histories, this is like almost settling scores. Like, this is this to me seems like these are people trying to settle old scores. Kind of like how George Bush's son went into Iraq after George Sr. didn't finish the job, right? Apparently on Saddam. So he was settling his dad's score. Seems like there's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of that going on. And, you know, the West had, we were in a Cold War with Russia for 30 years, right? Expanding NATO, building up those forces, pushing them right up to the border. And, you know, you were able to instigate Russia into invading you. And unfortunately for Ukraine, they have been absolutely devastated by this war. I saw, let me see if I can pull it up. Glenn had a map. Glenn put a map up on his Twitter feed. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Yeah, here it is. All right, hang on. So hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna make myself small so you can see this. So Glenn's map says, despite 9 months of bloody fighting, less than 500 square miles of territory have changed hands since the start of the year. A prolonged stalemate could weaken Western support for Russia. So just so you guys know, this whole area in here, the Donbass, right, where Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Now, Kherson and Crimea are technically, I guess, aren't part of the Donbass, but there's a lot of ethnic Russians in there. But they said they launched that spring offensive back in April of this year. They've lost 200,000 men, according to the Western reports, right, that are coming out of Ukraine. And the two little blue areas are where they have gotten. Now, mind you, Russia's had the Donbass since the opening weeks of the war, right? They did that feint that they were going to try to go after Kiev, and that drew a lot of their forces up to the northern part of the country to go fight. And while that was going on, they came in from the east, and they have had defensive lines set up here outside the Donbass for months. So America knew that this offensive was going to be an absolute meat grinder, and they still sent those troops in. This is not fighting Afghans and Pashtuns in the mountains of Tora Bora. We're talking about a military power that has the industrial capabilities to fight a war as long as they need to. Russia is rich in natural resources. It's just sickening. Sickening. Table Rock Guy, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight? Good to see you, man. 1796 Patriots says, I saw that. Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts. And you guys know I've been talking about that for like a year here on the channel. That I thought that, NATO instigated this, and or I don't agree with his invasion or anything like that, but I am starting to understand it. Making a lot more sense to me. You can call me a Putin shill or whatever you want. But in my eyes, looking 14, this was something the West wanted. They wanted this. And they didn't care if they were going to have to lose, apparently now, up to 400,000 Ukrainians to do it. Which is just... I saw a video the other day of a missile. I don't even want to talk about it really, but someone had a video on Twitter of a missile that had a camera on the front of it, and it was flying towards a Ukrainian truck. And right before the missile went off, the video feed cut. You could see the people that were sitting in the back of the truck. It was like 4 young kids. One of them was a girl. They were all in military garb with their weapons. But that, even though it's a horrible thing to see, people should know what's going on there. They should know that, they're bringing back 3,000 to 4,000 maimed and wounded soldiers every weekend. Super Steven says, how are you feeling these days on AMC? I know most apes are deflated. I mean, Super Steven, I can't go any lower, right? So, I mean, I'm just like, I have my shares. I was just going to say, I think I was saying that before we got cut off. But I went into Fidelity. Oh, because Thomas was asking me about the email. I was trying to get into Fidelity today to pick up some more shares. And then I saw that Finger started pumping from like 525. I feel about AMC that they're going to be just fine. And I'm sure the price is going to go up from here. I just don't know if they're going to, I don't know if they're going to let this thing ever run like it truly should. Like I was saying, guys, before we got cut off, Jay Powell wrote that in the federal meetings back in 2021 in November. He talked about the meme stocks and the destabilization of the entire economy and how it was disruptive and they would have to deal with it. And I think they've been doing that. I think they've been dealing with it. And I don't trust any of these people anymore. I trust you guys. But I don't trust, and I never really trusted anyone in the SEC to do their job. They let them off the hook back in 2008, and everyone got bonuses. And it's just, you're begging for people to continue to break the law. if you don't lock them up. Simple as that. You're asking Citadel to come fuck you again. And they will continue to fuck us as long as no one's trying to grab the condom from them, right? So I don't know what's going to happen, Super Steven. I don't. I really don't. I know we have the capabilities to do. I've seen it happen twice, right? I know the power that retail has. And, I was listening to YouTube last night, and someone said, we had a mission when we came in. And I'm sure you guys, anyone that's seen Dumb Money, you could probably know what I'm talking about. But, when everyone that they were showing all the side characters kept saying, well, he's still holding. We were all on that same page, right? I mean, millions of us. Hold. And Super Steven, like a couple weeks ago, we had talked, and I had said, and I had known about the whole, arbitrage and everything that was possible to go down. I still held through that, and it wasn't the smartest decision. But now at this point, like, how much more can you beat me down, I guess, is one thing. And secondly, I don't know what it's going to take, but it may be something that we had not planned for. We keep planning for all these things to get this thing kicked off and send it to the moon, right? And we haven't been right at all, ever. And that's why I came on, 2 weeks ago and said, look, guys, I'm going to hold on my position that I bought before. We did the reverse split, but anything going forward is up for grabs. I am not going to depend on the market makers and Citadel and Gary Gensler to start on my short squeeze. It may be something that we just more than likely it'll be something we haven't planned for. So I've been patient this long. I don't have a lot of dry powder right now, but I'm going to try to make my money in the stock market, make some of it back, and leave my position where it is. And that's all I can do right now, man. It's been 2.5 years. It's been rough, man. I mean, I've had to move 3 times. I don't have my own place right now. No, this hasn't been like the best ride for me, let's just say. And I'm thankful that I have the support of all you guys. Thank God. But, I do get a little bitter sometimes looking at some of the other YouTubers, who sold dreams and cocktails and dreams to people and, did very well for themselves. And that's great, right? I mean, I want people to do good. And there are a lot of people out there and, they deserve to get the clicks, right? But man, after seeing what happened with the ape dividend, I just knew there was no way I could possibly speculate and give you positive information on anything going forward. So I kind of just rolled with the punches and held, right? And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I held through. But you know what? I've lost like so many of the OGs that were in this from earlier. Like a lot of people, I lost like 100 subscribers in the last 2 weeks. And, a lot of them were big supporters of my channel, right? So it's not easy. It's not easy. But, despite what everyone says, about Tony and the paper hands, Tony has always been upfront, truthful, respectful, and very kind to me. I've never seen anything shady from him ever. So I'm not going to just, not collab with Tony anymore or not allow him on my channel into the comment section because, I might lose a super chat. It's to me, and me and Tony talked about 2 years ago when we first came on and started doing collabs. We talked about being clickbait and, why we started our channels. And, we always said like slow and steady wins the race, fully in the long run. If you just stick with the facts and what you can prove, you really won't get yourself in any trouble and your audience will respect that. And I don't know. I'm big on loyalty, right? So you know, it's at the end of the day, yeah, I'm just not going to do that to Tony. I was fully aware of what was possible of happening, and I made a big boy decision and decided to hold through that reverse split. And I got smacked in the mouth, right? I got smacked in the mouth after we got the ape dividend. I've gotten smacked in the mouth, seems like every 7 to 8 months. And you can blame it on Adam Aaron. You can blame it on Citadel. You can blame it on the SEC, the fucking market makers. You can blame it on everybody, but it really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's an L. No ways, hose. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight? 1796 Patriot says, I was talking about the Nazi in Canada. Keep up, man. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. I was talking about that earlier. Christina Freeland. Grandpa Barney, I don't need any salt, bro. No salt. No, it was. Listen, you know, I never in a million years would have imagined they could have dropped our market cap like that fast. And again, that's why I say I don't trust the market. I've lost complete faith in anything being regulated or transparent or any of that. I mean, look at the fucking chart for the last 3 weeks. Why is it that every other cinema company is going up except AMC? Somebody explain that to me. Like, I understand the books are different, but why is it that everything that's owned by the institutions always does so well? The last thing I need to do is break my iPad. It's like the last thing I have that works good. But yeah. I mean, this isn't from today, but the last 4 days I've been looking on this thing and everything's up except AMC. So, I mean, fuck it. What am I going to do? What can I do at this point? Shin, you should have never asked me how am I doing, man. This is all your fault, bro. I'm just kidding. Grandma Barney, how you doing tonight, man? Thanks for the salt. Super Steven says, my buddy Grandpa Barney is here. What's up, Grandpa? Yeah, I was just talking 1796 Patriot about Christina Freeland and her history and how I believe these people who have infiltrated the cabinets of the Western governments are looking for some type of retribution, settling some old scores from the Cold War or earlier. And again, remember, for years, the mainstream media told us that Russia colluded with the president to steal an election from Hillary Clinton right out of her grasp, right? So I understand why Americans are saying Slava Ukraini and, you know, Putin's a piece of shit and we got to destroy Russia and all of it, right? If I didn't know better, if I wasn't awake to what was going on and I was watching CNN and MSNBC every night or Fox News or any of them, yeah, I might have a very similar opinion to a lot of the people out there. But man, you know, I to see people be so misinformed on something in this day and age, when you have the ability to get your hands on information from so many different places, there's really no excuse for you still to be lost. And I'm talking about like the Gen Xers, some of the millennials and the boomers, right? Gen Z is gone. They are completely lost. That whole generation, unfortunately for this country, that generation is, yeah, they're going to be a blip on the history, in the history books. Really, they're going to be a blip. Because whatever's coming, whatever the turn is for us, this fourth turn that we come into, this crisis, the unraveling, whatever it is, Gen Z is going to get a lot of blame for it. Unfortunately, they're going to have to live with that for a long time. And we're going to be the ones that are the glue. You know, everyone who's on this channel right now is probably in that age range from 25 to 65, right? If there's any chance of keeping this country together, it's got to be us that does it. That's just a fact. Regular Potato says still holding. Yeah, man, I'm still holding too. I just going forward, man. I'm not going to be afraid to pull the trigger on anything. I don't have faith in the system anymore. I saw what we could do. I saw it happen in January of 2021, right before my eyes. I saw it happen in June of 2021, right before my eyes. So I know that the possibility is there and it can be done. But every time we try to say or speculate on what it's going to be that's going to kick off a MOAS, we are fucking wrong. And, it's one thing about, I'll give Tony, we always said, like, no dates, no prices, no brackets. They're not the most interesting videos, but there's only so much factual information out there that can actually affect the bottom line of a company on any given day. Broke Ape says, are you selling options on your shares, Mass? It's a weekly income done right. No, man, I just got approved for options on Fidelity like 2 weeks ago. I haven't touched options since I bought my shares of AMC because there was a very widespread theory that we were funding these guys and giving them liquidity through the options chain. So I haven't touched any options, and I purposely didn't sign up for them for the last 2.5 years because I didn't want to be tempted to. So I just got options turned on Fidelity like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I got to find a way with the small powder that I do have left, small amount of dry powder I do have left right now to start just living, man. I can't work up here right now. They won't give me a visa. So, and I have nowhere to go. Place that I was at before, that me and my buddy were living at, got sold. He's living in the basement with his parents. And, I'm out here. So I've just started in the last, 2 weeks since I came onto those live streams and I told you guys, what my plan was going forward. And that I was going to, be honest with you guys and say, hey, any shares I buy after today, off the table are as buy and hold and hodl. If I can make money, I'm going to take some profits. I said I wouldn't touch the shares that I had bought up to that point, but anything after that's fair game. And I plan on doing that. So Broke Ape, send me an email, man. Yeah, I'm always looking for a way to make some money right now. Like, I'm looking at my positions today, and yeah, they look good. But really, if I bought Finger this morning, say I got in at like 540 or 530, I bought 100 shares. What am I going to make? $30? I guess that's the point, though, right? Chip away, right? Chip away. Grandpa Barney says, going forward, only day trade AMC, just saying, treat it like any other stock. Yeah, GP. Grandpa Barney was one of the ones who was able to convince me that, again, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. He's right. So, yeah, that's my philosophy going forward. And I made that very clear 2 weeks ago. 3 nights in a row, I came on and said that as many times as I could, just so there's no questions. Super Steven says the issue, Mass, is none of the YouTubers are traders. Buy and hold is really hope and hold. Yeah, and listen, man, I get that, right? All these guys had never traded before. This might be the only stock that they hold, right? I get that, right? And it wiped out a lot of people. And it didn't. I have other positions, but they've all got wiped out too in the last 2 years, right? It's not even just AMC. Overall, in my portfolio, I'm down from 2021, right? It's not just AMC. That's why I like all this shit about, blaming Adam Aaron. Well, we better blame Peter Thiel for my Palantir going down from 40 to fucking 15. What's up with that? With like 25% short interest. There is a way to win on AMC, but it's not the ape way. That's the truth. Yeah, man, I just learned that the hard way, right? But seeing dumb money, reminded me of why I started this channel and why, when I bought my first share and, you watch trades sometimes, which was nice to have someone like covering the stock while the market was open and I was at work. I was with everyone else and we had a goal, right, in mind. We wanted to take these guys down, give them a spanking, and take some tendies for everything that happened since 2008. Look, in 2008, I lost my window cleaning business, right, because of the pandemic, because of the housing crisis, and like we were talking about the other night, someone was like, "Oh, we gotta go protest. We gotta go protest." We did that in 2008, and all it did was make them more greedy and more nefarious. I should have known that before I went down to DC in January and froze my ass off. But again, I think that it was a just cause, and I thought I thought that we had the right intentions, and there were, I met a lot of good people in this play who do want to see the market get fixed and be more fair. If we could have a fair open market, we could actually trade like normal human beings. But if you're in the meme stocks right now, or you're not just holding blue chip stocks, it is a gamble. And yeah. You're right, Super Steven. Yeah. I mean, look, and I'm not saying the YouTubers did that on purpose, right? I don't think a lot of them were out here pushing buy and hold and then they were just like, selling on the side. I don't think that's it. I think a lot of them believed, like myself, that eventually we would be able to replicate what we did in January and June 2021. How hard can it be? Right? How hard can it be? We've already proven it can be done twice. But after watching Dumb Money, and like I said, I almost walked out in the first 15 minutes of the film. Like when I saw Cohen and Griffen fighting over picking up Plotkin's scraps, I was just like, why the fuck do I need to know? I know this story. What am I doing here? Right? But I was like, all right, let me just stay till the end. I already paid to get in. Let me just stay and, maybe I'll see something. I'll pick up on something that, I haven't been thinking of, or maybe I'll see where my mistake was made in this whole process, how I got to this point. And, I just saw a lot of things that bothered me and reminded me why I'm so skeptical. And, we've been saying that they've been doing this, and the mainstream media and the SEC and everybody else says that we're wrong. And so far, they've been right? We haven't had a MOAS. There's been no significant price run. So how many times can I beat this dead horse and keep saying buy and hold? I can't. Backyard Boogie, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Grandpa Barney says I miss Ape. That was wrong, GP. Wrong. That did make me smile. Jesse says, Jesse, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight? How is New Zealand treating you today? How many times a day does Kenny think about the Roman Empire? Put in the chat right now. Let me know if you think about the Roman Empire every day. Throw chat. Could be male or female. I'm just curious. 1796 Patriot says, Broke, but get right back to you. Remember that it ain't over until the fat lady sings and she ain't sung yet. Okay, so speaking of which, so at the end of Dumb Money, they showed how much money everybody made, right? That they followed throughout the movie. And the girl that was the nurse was down $160,000, still holding. So I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm not the only one, and I can deal with this, right? Yeah, 1796 Patriot. I wouldn't count on anything that has to do with fundamentals or the options chain or any of that having any kind of effect that would see a MOAS for AMC. That's just the God's honest truth, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to let it happen. I think we were on the verge of absolutely corrupting and collapsing the financial systems in this country back in early 2021. Yeah, I really believe that. I really do believe that. I really believe had they not turned off the buy buttons, that we would have seen something historic. And it might have wiped out many of these big funds. And I don't think that Biden was going to walk into the White House and allow the stock market to collapse because of a bunch of retail trading apes, right? Plain and simple. And I think they realized how easily they almost lost everything. And they have, I believe, made it so that going forward, it's going to be very difficult to replicate that scenario again. No matter how much faith or belief you have, or what you see from a YouTuber or a Twitter post, no matter what, they are not going to let us collapse the financial system, which is probably what would happen had they let it run. The fact that Gary Gensler came back with the GameStop report last year and said that there was nothing illegal going on, after we saw the records from that went back and forth between Robinhood and Citadel on the days leading up to the buy button going off. So he just he allowed FTX, I think, to go under because what I told you guys earlier. I think that they want to discourage people away from using Bitcoin and any of those other tokens. They want to implement CBDC. And if they have an example like that to point to go to Congress, you saw how mad Kennedy was and these other guys are about FTX. These congressmen who actually care about their constituents, right? The guys who aren't all wrapped up in the lobbyist money and making a killing and speaking fees. The ones who are actually doing their job, they're not happy with what happened, right? They're clearly upset, visibly upset. And again, I'll go back to the dog and pony show thing. Yeah, I think a lot of stuff that goes on in Congress is a dog and pony show. Absolutely. But there also are some people out there who give a shit. And that guy, McHenry, looked pissed, and so didn't Kennedy. And I don't think that was by mistake. I think that was by design. They wanted to scare a lot of people crypto, and but even more importantly, because we all know the gig, right? So it's not going to affect retail that much or someone that's in the market per se. But to the untrained eye, someone who is sitting at their home and doesn't know the first thing about blockchain or crypto or cold storage wallets, any of that, then it is a red flag to say, I'm not going into Bitcoin. No way. I'm not buying Ethereum. Look what happened to FTX. But then Gensler and Jay Powell can come back to Congress and say, we fixed the problem. We made a digital currency that's linked into the Fed, and that way your money will be guaranteed FDIC insured, and no big deal, right? Sure, I can use that as a crypto token until you can't. And deep down inside, the more I've thought about it, the more I've read about it, the more I've looked at a million different things, from posts to news articles to videos to interviews. I think that was their motivation, was to let it fall, right? Yeah, you're going to wipe out a couple people, but it was mostly small retail investors, again, who got hurt by this because you had asshole YouTubers pushing it for profit, knowing it was shady. So again, yeah, they made that money off the backs of the 99%. Yeah, Tom Brady lost some money, but what's he worth? 10 billion? Kevin O'Leary lost money. Oh, big deal. 15 million. It's the retail investors who got sucked in by these guys to purchase their tokens through FTX. But yeah, I think everything we are seeing happen right now is by design. This shit is not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. Brocape says, Mass, if I Twitter, hold on. Mass, if I Twitter DM you daily with our plays, would you be on board? Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, yes. 100%, 100%. 1796 Patriots said, oh, okay, I got that. Tom says, we are the birth out of the fourth turning. Relax and get ready for the turn, and we are doing great. I hope so, Tom. I think shit's going to get ugly before it gets better. I think we've just barely scraped the surface of the kind of civil unrest that we're going to see soon. Like, if you think that what happened in Philly this weekend was an anomaly, think again. You might see that on a massive scale. It gets even tighter. Inflation continues to rise. People get it. If the housing market collapses, along with commercial backed mortgages, when people get desperate, they do desperate things, right? I don't know if it's just starting a little too early. But yeah, I think we have a wild 12 months ahead of us, guys. Wild. Prometheus, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in the chat. How is your better half doing, man? Make sure you tell her hello from us. Candace said, what made you go? I'm a big Trudeau fan, Candace. Huge Trudeau fan. You know, the way he just really, he really what a leader does during protests by shutting them down, right? Yeah, it was basically just, I wanted to be in a country with a much more communist leader. Candace says, if you're going to do options mass, open up a Webull cash account because there's no PDT with that. So I have Webull right now. That's where most of the MC shares are still. That's where I first way back. Okay. Let me write that down. Because I just did it for Fidelity, like I said a couple weeks ago. I didn't even think about going into Webull because I really just use that as like my savings account. A majority of my AMC and GME shares are in my Webull account. Let's see. Elevate the frequency. What's going on, man? Elevate the frequency says, and Candace, you know I was being sarcastic, right? Of course. I can't stand that fucker. Hold and hope is not a good strategy. Learn to day trade, scalp, and swing trade, says Elevate the frequency. Yeah, man, again, to the people that are still talking about buy and hold and hold to the moon, and this thing's about to go tomorrow, and the DTCC is about to let the short squeeze happen, and Citadel's getting margin called. That's all good and dandy, but the strategy that the aiming good one when we were all united and we didn't have to deal with let's just remember the CEO was coming on to YouTube channels, interacting with his shareholders. So that was something I had never seen before. The strategy, the strategy and the idea behind it was very well intentioned, and I think we had the right way of going about it at first, but they have clearly figured out a way to take advantage of retail, whether it's through the options chains or whatever they're doing. If they're marking long short, like we've been saying, or they're not reporting their short interest properly, there are a million ways, and Gary Gensler is fucking out to lunch. He is not going to go in and start tearing apart Citadel and telling the world that the United States stock markets, the New York Stock Exchange is rigged with payment for order flow and the market makers and the hedge funds being on the same LL fucking C. He's not. What? So the Saudis and South Korea and Japan can come all pull their money out of the market? Administration is not going to let that happen. Just like I don't think they're going to let a financial collapse in the stock market to get seriously crushed, 20 days after Biden comes into office. Not happening. And I don't know about the rumors from that time, about what the relationship was between the Treasury Secretary, the White House, the press secretary for the White House, and Citadel. I haven't been able to prove that in 2.5 years, so I don't know illusion there. I would assume if that was being done on the side of Robinhood and Citadel and Melvin, why it wouldn't happen in a larger scale in that swamp? Totally possible. Yeah, Prometheus, where you been? Where you been, bro? Prometheus says, Grandpa, working my ass off, been so busy I haven't been trading or paying attention to my investment. Candace says, sometimes life gets in the way, Mash. You need to do what you need to do. Those shares belong to you and nobody else. If you need to sell them, then you sell. Yeah, like, and if I get desperate enough and I have to sell those shares out of my Webull, I'll let you guys know. I'm not going to be ashamed to say I can't hold anymore. I feel like I've put in enough time. I've given it enough time to work itself out, buying and holding. And again, it just, hasn't been a good scenario for me. So I need to switch things up. I can't stay in this mode. And it might not necessarily be that I need to trade AMC at all, but I just won't be buying and holding every day. And I've taken my licks from that, from my brokerage account and my YouTube audience, but that's okay. It's all good. Elevate the Frequency says, good intentions. Javi, what's up, bro? Says still holding. Javi, I'm still holding on my shares. I just, I was saying that any new shares that I buy are going to be up for grabs if I can make money on them. But I'm still holding my shares too, bro. I went down with the ship with everybody else. There's not many YouTube channels out there talking about AMC that are still holding AMC since March and April of 21. How many channels are out there right now? I mean, I wouldn't say Matt Kors. He's not still holding right now. Did Lou ever own shares? I have no idea. He started a week after I did. Trey's gone, right? Thomas James and TMI erased like their whole YouTube channel. Let's see, who else? I'm trying to think of like, yeah, I haven't seen Jeff Forbes do a video in 2 weeks, maybe longer. I don't know who's still holding positions out there and still doing videos, but there's not many of us. So, you got to understand along the way, you're going to lose people, right? That's just the way it's going to be. You're not going to make everyone happy. You're not going to make everybody happy. So sometimes things that you do, people aren't going to agree with. And no matter how much you might like the person, I mean, look, how long did I have KYP come into the live streams all the time, right? Just like coming in, talking. Like she was one of my favorite people in on YouTube, right? And I haven't seen her since, I don't know, 2 months now? I see her around places, other places, but she hasn't come back on my channel yet. That's, to me, that's sad, right? Javi, good to see you, bro. Regular Potato says, because we've been playing fairly and they've been cheating. Yeah. And I don't know how deep the conspiracy goes. They may be doing something just very simple that keeps a tab on everything. This is not the stock market of pre-2008. Candace says Thomas James and New York Angelo still do AMC every day. No, I know, but I mean, Candace, not people, not the pumper channels, right? Like clickbait channels. I would assume New York Angelo is probably still holding shares. I don't know about Thomas James. Thomas James started doing AMC videos after the June 2021 run up. I remember I did a video back like in July or August of 2021. And I said, if you guys want to know who's been in this stock and who's holding from low numbers, go back and look at the channel that you're watching. Go back to pre-June. What were they doing videos on then? Were they talking about AMC? Did they buy in when it was $4, $5, $6, $7, or in at 40, 50, 60, 70, right? And I told every one of my subscribers, I was like, go around, look at your channel, the channels you watch today, go into their video history and go back and look and see, well, how long has this guy been in? When did he buy in? When did he start talking about AMC? Your wife's boyfriend says, I think no MOAS 2, they will halt it somehow. That's another thing about dumb money that I another point where I wanted to get up and walk out of the theater. But watching, what was his name? What was Vlad's partner's name there in real life? Where the fuck is his name? I can't find it. But his buddy there was, panicking when Robinhood shut off the buy button. And he kept saying to Vlad, you need to fix this. And Vlad said, I just did. And like that, it was over, right? I mean, yeah, they repumped again. And Roaring Kitty got everyone fired up again. But a lot of people lost a lot of money, right? So that should have been a sign. But again, the way I looked at it as a retail trader was, well, there's no way they can ever do that again, right? But what I wasn't counting on was all the other ways they can do it. And that was something that I kind of learned along the way with everyone else, right? Like I wasn't really aware that they were doing that with options, right? I didn't realize that they had the ability, or that they didn't report short interest for every 15 days, right? Because I had never got into a play before for a short squeeze. It was always just trading here and there, right? I was never in this before AMC with Webull. I wasn't trading, trying to buy and hold for a MOAS. This was like a whole different game plan. Regular Potato says, AA killing the upswings. I'm not a fan. Yeah, man, look, and I'll say this over and over and over again. And I remember waking up that morning, or June 3rd, and doing a video because what's his face there from CNBC came on and said that Aaron had just dropped 20 million shares into the market. And he said, but of course they need to be voted on, or he was proposing to drop 20 million shares into the market, but of course he has to get approval before he can do that. Now, I didn't know, and I still to this day don't know how I didn't know this, that Adam Aaron still had 20 million shares left in his pocket. But regardless, he dropped those 20 million shares at $72, and we were probably 1 day away. If we had a chance to hit triple digits, they might not have been able to stop it for a while. We could have seen a really nice run back in June of 2021. And ever since, all I've seen them do is crush the price, no matter what we do, no matter how much money is made, no matter if we're profitable. We were higher back in January 2021 with no one in the theaters. We were at 6 times the price we are right now. Make it make sense. Regular Potato says, another thing. I should have learned from that, right? I should have seen, Adam Aaron's selling. Now, I understand that he came on Trey's thing and said, I'm trying to, which is something that every CEO does. I don't want to say that this is like so out of left field. A lot of compensation is in stocks, right? And a lot of times people in the C-suite and board members sell them. That's how they make and get paid. So I get that. But again, I should have picked up on, okay, well, this guy is doing the opposite. Like, if he was not doing anything, that would have been more of a bullish sign to me, or should have been, right? But the fact that he was selling, I should have taken that into account, right? I was just saying earlier to one of you guys that, that Ryan Cohen just became CEO of GameStop again, and I'm going to be looking to see if he jumps in and buys some shares. I didn't think that he was going to let himself not become CEO again. What I'm trying to say. I kind of felt like that was a done deal already. But yeah, now he's going to be CEO, and instead of just, I guess, running the companies from the shadows, he's going to get all the stock options and the pay and all that, right? Elevate the Frequency says, the transfer of wealth was from the middle class to the rich, not the other way around, right? Yeah. We could have taken a bunch of money from Wall Street, right? We could have taken a lot of money from Wall Street. We did. I mean, we took out a hedge fund. $1 billion in 3 days. So I don't want to dismiss the power of retail when they put their minds to doing something, because they can do it. We can do it. I just think that they have been prepared for this every step of the way. And that's pretty clear if you look at the chart. Ellie says, but they still have to clear up the billions of synthetics still in our accounts. Yeah, Ellie, I mean, and again, I don't know, like, and this is another thing, because of the phone call with Adam Aaron, the parking lot voice recording, and him not believing in synthetics. I don't know what Adam Aaron's definition of synthetics are. I know what my definition of synthetics are, right? I think a lot of us kind of have the same idea that there are multiple ways that they are able to create shares that are not part of the 517 million. Actually, that's changed now. What is the float right now? Help me out, chat. Like 197 or something. How do you prove the synthetic shares are out there? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I mean, the share count is what the share count is, right? It's whatever it is right now, 197 million, I believe. I'm a Professional says, why would AA buy shares? He gets them for free. Look, if he thought he could buy them today at, what did we close at? 779. And he thought that Q3 earnings were going to be spectacular. Actually, he can't do that, right? Doesn't he have to put that in beforehand? So yeah, that doesn't even make sense, because he's got to make that known well ahead of time. Yeah, and that's why Ryan Cohen is doing it, right? Regular Potato. Yeah. Chris Webb says they cleaned up the synthetics with the reverse split. You think so, Chris? That's the thing, right? I can't tell you that. I don't know that for a fact. They may there still could be a billion synthetics out there. I have no idea. I know that Al from Boston says that there are. I know Lou vs. Wall Street says there are. There's other YouTubers out there who keep saying billions and billions of synthetics got to be cleaned up. I haven't seen that anywhere to prove that to me. I believe they're out there. No doubt about it. Obviously, I'm well aware that of the amount of shares that we own, or at least what I think that we own. I think it was probably higher back in June of 2021 than it is now. But also, we have had a lot of new people come in, and a lot of us have bought more shares since then. So we have larger positions, right? Prometheus says, swing trade everything in the markets, including the markets themselves. It's a rigged system, so rig it in your favor. Make your money. Ellie says, what happens when we all start selling? The price is probably going to go down. Javi, good to see you, man. Javi says good night. But hopefully when we do decide to sell our shares, we're at a price that it's not going to matter, right? At least that's the hope anyways. I'm still hanging on to that little bit of hope. And I got plenty of shares to do it with, so I'm not concerned. Ellie says the RS wasn't enough to billions of shares. No, that's probably right, Ellie. Again, I don't know where that number comes from. And it doesn't really matter what I believe either, or what Adam Aaron believes. It's what you can prove. Regular Potato says, anyways, I'm not here to argue. He's in league with the hedgies. No, man, no one's arguing, Regular Potato. We're having a conversation, man. That's why I do the live streams. So you guys can come on and talk and express your opinions. It's all good. It's not arguing. We're having a discussion. Brocape says, Mash, China looking good right now. What time is it? 10:46. Holy. 5% increase in their first ticket total for the last 2 years. And if you look back, flat pattern just hit the bottom. Oh, Baba. I'm like, what stock are you talking about? What ticker? Baba, got it. Man, I just remember Alibaba got absolutely demolished back in 2021. You guys remember that? Went from like 500 a share to like $60. I'm professional says exactly. Pam was here? Where? Candace says, yeah, just make sure it's cash and then take the little quiz for options. Oh, no, they already I saw they had me on margin today when I went in there. I saw that. They were trying to get me to up my tier. I'm like, no, thanks. What, so I can be robbed? I can go to Philly and get robbed. Or Seattle. I'm not going to let you do it from my chair. Brocape says, selling covered calls against your position is guaranteed money with minimal risk of losing your shares, 100 a contract. Yeah, Brocape, make sure you DM me, man. We'll talk about that. Candace says, a lot of us did, Candace, right? A lot of us did. I thought he was great until he made us feel like agree with anything we believed in. As far as the market manipulation, I would agree with you, Candace, on that 100%. Yeah. Right? I mean, but then I've also heard him. I mean, here's the thing, right? He can, whatever his idea of synthetics are, and he wants to deny them, that's fine. I know that leading up to 2021, he was talking about them to multiple different people. What was going on? He was well aware of the manipulation that was going on in the stock. Now, was he just so drunk on the fact that they were able to raise $2 billion in capital in that short amount of time when it seems like they were about to fucking be bankrupt. And he's just been blinded by the light ever since and not realized. I don't see how that could be possible. There's no way he could look back at the chart and not be like, well, all right, maybe there's something going on here. I mean, how do you wipe out $1.5 billion in market cap in 6 days based off no news? How did they do it to us when they gave us the ape dividend? How are they able to run that price from $10 to 60 cents? I know we all didn't go out and sell ape because Wrench told us to, or meet fucking Kevin. Kimberly Volpe says Keenan. Keenan's still holding? Yeah, I believe Keenan's probably still holding. But I don't think Keenan's a pumper. I don't think he's a hopium clickbait channel. Keenan talks about a lot of other stuff. But yeah, I'm sure Keenan is still holding Kim. Regular Potato says TMI is still on. Is he? I thought I saw that I'm pretty sure I went and looked and saw he deleted like his entire video log. Oh, there she is. Hey, Pam. I was just looking for you. Just got home from dinner. How you doing? I saw your pictures from the wedding. Congratulations. Kim says Bigums. Oh yeah, I'm talking about I'm talking about the people who like came in at $70, Kim, and like started just making content for the sake of making content and getting ad revenue. That's who I mean when I'm talking about those guys, the YouTubers. I'm not talking about Bigums or Boss or any of those guys. Or Phil for Real, or yeah, not those guys. Candace says they do still do AMC every day. Yeah, that's unfortunate, right? There's a lot of people who I see in the comments of Thomas James's videos saying, dude, this is like the 4th video you've made this month that says the DTCC is preparing for the squeeze. Now, I don't know if people are buying or selling or getting into the options chain based off Thomas James information. But, clickbait can be harmful sometimes if you're not careful. 1796 Patriot says, buy, sell, and balance 60 to nearly 70% every day, but no reflection in price. Yeah. Yeah, I seen them. I see the buy-sell ratios every day on Twitter. People taking, the photos of, and at the end of the day, showing what they were. Yeah, I've seen it. I see it all. I see it all. I've seen all the glitches. I've seen, all the expired contracts that never get cashed in on. Again, it's not to bash on any YouTubers out there, but if people are actually taking your information and say getting call contracts because you put out a video that says Citadel just got margin called, and so you run to your computer and say, oh my God, Citadel is the company that is the heaviest shortener of AMC. They just got margin called. You know what I'm saying? Is it really worth it for $10 in ad revenue to put that video out? Why don't you stick it in your back pocket? I mean, I put out 2 videos this week, right? Didn't really have too much to do with AMC or the market really in general, just stuff that was going on in the country. But you can see the views. Neither video even cracked 400 views. The last video I uploaded before that about the market, 4,000. And I was talking about Home Depot. Candace says, yeah, but other than them, there's not too many still that they're still holding. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's not that many of us, right? There's not. Pam says, Elliot, I was sick for a week, was home all week and feeling way better. Let's go. I'm glad you're better, Pam. Pam, when didn't I just like a couple of your photos and you were at a wedding or a reception or something? Candace says, Butcher of Wall Street, but he doesn't stream very often anymore. That's Marcel, right? Broke Ape says, my AMC cost average is $9.99. Pam says, I found this community because I was watching Roaring Kitty and was in GME first. Did you see, Pam? Roaring Kitty was here on the first stream tonight. I don't know if he saw himself on the thumbnail or what, but yeah. Did you go see the movie, Pam? Candace says, Master, you noticed there was someone here tonight and their name. Yeah. I did see that. Yeah. That wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me that much. I mean, he's from basically 2 towns over from where I grew up. We're the same age. We know some of the same people. I've never met him personally. I didn't know him growing up in the neighborhood or anything like that. But I have a lot of friends down in Brockton, that area. I spent a lot of time hanging out down there. It's there's a college down there called Bridgewater State College that a lot of us used to go to, and where he went to school, Stonehill, was like a good party school that was right by my house. So, but I don't know him personally. I'm sure it wasn't him. Professional says the brokerages do not have to go down. They get fined just like they just did, a measly amount, so they will continue. You don't make the rules. Professional, I was just saying that earlier. I'm like, man, you tell Citadel that they're allowed to misrepresent their positions for 10 years, millions of trades, and you slap them with a $7 million fine when they're making $16 billion in revenue. You're begging them to do that again. You're asking to get fucked, in my opinion. Super Steven says, Mass, the tradable float is what dictates the price, not buy and hold. Problem is retail ran out of money. That's a problem too, Super Steven. Yep. We weren't able to. Yeah, we weren't. I mean, think about the momentum you need to build up, the FOMO, and how you need to get that gamma combined with institutions and day traders jumping in, like to have that perfect storm. You only get so many shots at it, right? We don't have infinite amounts of money like these guys do. I don't, at least. And I continued to buy a stock that was going down in value. So every time I went in and hit the buy button, within 24 hours or 48 hours, I'd be down. Right? What the fuck? For 2 years straight. How many times do I have to keep getting smacked in the face until I say no mas? San Diego Laundromats says, Canada, really buckle up. Winter is coming. It's cheaper. Yeah, man, I had no other choice but to come here, San Diego Laundromats. Yeah. Like I said, man, a lot of you guys know my story. Last year, I left my place in New Hampshire. A buddy of mine got divorced. I went down to help him out because he had a really expensive mortgage, and I said I would move in if it was cool to have my bedroom as a studio. And you guys know I went down there and put a lot of work into building that place, and not realizing that 9 months later he was going to turn around and sell it, and at that same time my portfolio got wiped out, right? So yeah, I didn't bring too many warm clothes with me. I couldn't take that much on the train. Jordan says, what if Adam hid the answer in the NFTs? Oh, God. Maybe they're in a Highcroft tweet. I bet. Super Steven says, Ellie, all I'm going to say to you is people don't own as many shares as you believe they do. Now, Super Steven, I'll say this. I know a lot of subscribers to this channel, the audience of this channel, I think a lot of them have big positions as well. I can't speak for everybody, but I've seen some numbers from people. I mean, I don't see why they'd make that up, right? I don't know who would be lying about being down on a huge position. Candace says it's good to be able to talk and them not thrown off the island if you have a different point of view. Yeah, Candace, I've been like that since day one, hon. I always said, like, you know, unless someone is doing something completely out of line, I will make sure that you have as much free speech on this platform as I do. That's only fair. And that is one of the main things as a, you know, American patriot that I believe in is free speech. So, and I have really good mods who usually are pretty awesome about just letting people talk. Professional says, if you notice the last earnings call, AA said millions of shareholders, not 3.8 or whatever previous number he touted. Many people have sold. Professional, yeah, I don't look, you can just look at views on YouTube channels and get a kind of idea of where things are at, right? A pretty good idea. I mean, Trey was going from 120,000 views a day to 0. So that's a big chunk. Now the thing is, also people have continued to buy since then that are still in this play. We've had new people that have come in and bought. People increased their positions, new people that bought. What was the other thing? I guess that's it. But yeah, I don't know what the number is right now, how many of us there still are. There might be less of us that have bigger positions than we did in June of 2021, which if that's the case, post-reverse split, we probably held most of that float, right? I would assume. If we're getting rid of 10 shares for one, wouldn't it just mean that we own more? I guess not technically, right? Because on paper, you wouldn't. Scratch that. That was me thinking out loud. How dare you be on the phone, Pam, while I'm doing a live stream? Ben says, Massalorian, what's up with the documentary? So I've been working on it, bro. Listen, I have a lot of film that I have to go through. Like, I went to 15 cities over 22 days. And I spent a ton of money doing that. Like, no joke, it cost like $3,500 to do that whole thing. So I am not rushing out a half-assed, poorly produced documentary, right? I need to see some reward from what I put into it. So I am taking my time, and I'm gonna do the best fourth turning in America 2023 video I can. Now with that said, I've been working on it, but I've also been working on doing the live streams and the videos for here. I just got signed up for Rumble because, like I said, they're demonetizing everything now on YouTube. Hold on, I think I have. It's gonna be in tomorrow's video. I've already cut, but yeah, I need to distance myself from YouTube as much as possible. Just if you have anything that is like, if there's anything that's questionable in your video, just forget about. Pray for limited ads. I'm just curious if I pulled up right now, because so the last 2 live streams that we did, they demonetized me and I had to fight it. So let me see if they answered me that wow, see, just lost another 10 subs. That was quick. Let me see if they change that, because sometimes if you fight it, they will come back and say, oh yeah, we went back over and looked and we noticed, nope, one of them, So they turned on one. So they turned on, when was this? September 24th video. They turned on ads, but September, what's this? 23rd, still ads suitability is limited. So I didn't win that appeal. And what were we talking about that? Oh, we talking about Chicago that night and the border crisis. So yeah, Ben, just try to be patient, man. I really want this to be well done. I want it to hopefully get some buzz, and I really want people to understand what I saw with my own eyes. So I'm going to try to do the best I can to make that an actual real documentary that's worth the time and effort I put into making it. So I just don't want to rush it. I don't want to have it. I don't want to have it just be a video that gets like 500 views, man. That would be a big letdown. I might literally throw myself off Vancouver Bridge. Headstock Harem says, Meathead Kevin. Atlas says, clearly PFOF not helping. Yeah, man. I mean, look, and they could have done away with that a long time ago. We didn't need to still be here doing payment for order flow on 9/28/2023. That is because our regulators do not care. They do not care. It is way too profitable for them to get rid of payment for order flow. It's way too easy for them to control price action if they are routing their in self-reporting. Yes, exactly. He was right there with us. Then he wasn't. That $2 billion they made off us, it's like they squandered it instead of being smarter with it. I'm gonna plan on doing a video about that soon. Trying to figure out what they did with that money. Find out. TNT 718 says, and Keenan only has like 40 shares after reverse split. Hey, man. I'm just glad some people are still holding with us. I'm thankful he's got 400 shares. That's 400 that the institutions don't have. Yeah, Kimberly, I hope I wasn't snapping at you, but yeah, about the the guys who put out 5, 6, 7 videos a day, or just the nonsense with I'm getting on the board and my lawsuit is you know who that's who I'm talking about, that crowd. I'm trying to remember, I can't even think of what his name is now. Help me out, chat. Who was the guy back in early 2021? If you've been here this long, you'll know who I'm talking about. He used to make like a video every day that said AMC to 500,000, and the next day he'd make a video that said AMC to 100,000. He did that for like 3 or 4 months. He was getting like 50, 60,000 views a day from that video. Those videos. I can't remember what. Professional says, can't make it. I hope that answers your question, by the way, Ben. Can't make it better when people weren't flooding theaters and spending money they didn't waste anywhere near what they burned. Yeah, and again, I'm professional. We're not getting help from Hollywood right now, right? That's another issue that we're having as shareholders of AMC. The product that's coming out is rehashed, retold, re-raced movies that no one gives a shit about. There's like almost no original content coming out from the big production studios, which is something I could not have planned for back in January 2021. If you had told me in January 2021 that Disney in 2023 would lose $1 billion on 3 of its biggest IPs, I would have said, you're absolutely nuts. But they did it. And they're continuing to do it, knowing how much it's costing them. They're continuing to push this agenda. if they don't fire Rachel Ziegler, and they're not going to now, right? No matter what happens going forward, they've already shot most of that movie. So she is Snow White, and those are the 7 dwarfs, whether you like it or not. I don't know if that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it might be. And that might happen right in the middle of next summer when there's going to be maybe other craziness going on. I'm just being very careful. Again, the strike's over. That's good. But that was making me nervous, man. You know, the fact that they were out striking for 4 months, the writers, the actors are still on strike, but at least the writers are getting back to the table. But again, I don't even understand what bargaining chips they were using. If I was the production companies, I would have been like, you got a lot of balls coming in here today asking for more money when you just lost us $1 billion fucking on IPs that we spent tons of money on. How do the Disney writers even have a leg to stand on asking for more money? They can't make an original movie to save their life. Everything they touch turns to shit. None of us could have been prepared for that. Unless you were sitting in the C-suite, you know, with the DEI hires after 2020. That's another thing. Like, who thought that they were going to let all these nutbags into their businesses? And now, good luck getting rid of them. Because you know what's coming next after the strike's over. So they're going to pay more for everything. The studio's going to pay more. Guess where that money's coming from? It's going to come from me and you and at the theaters, right? But it's also going to come from any dead weight at any company right now. There is going to be a cry throughout the land like you have never heard, I think. Because if you haven't produced anything in the last 2 years, and I am Bob Iger, and I'm worried about a hostile takeover of my company, and I got people threatening to kill me, and my theme park is at all-time lows for attendance. I just lost $1 billion. He can keep up with that and keep fighting the good fight and die on that hill with DEI and all that bullshit. But if he doesn't, and we'll know right away because you'll start to see the layoffs, right? You'll start to see, well, why do we need 10 writers in this room for this movie? We need 10 different people to come up with an idea to remake Little Mermaid with a black girl in it. I need all 10 of you to do that? Or can I do that with just one person? So if you out there are happy to listen to the show tonight and you've been hired since 2020 and you know you probably don't belong in your position because you haven't done anything or produced anything worth of value the last 2 or 3 years, I would say buckle up as well. Yeah, we'll buckle up as show holders, but you better buckle up too. Just look around. The auto workers went on strike. They already laid off a couple thousand people. And those people actually do work and produce something, right? The auto workers, at least, they're actually putting out something that's turning a profit for their company. So I can get behind that idea. But for the Disney writers to come in and demand more money, and we need more writers in the writing room, and we need to have more representation in our leading roles. Fucking, you can forget it. Disney will go the way of the dodo. Mark my words. We'll be at $50 by fucking next spring for Disney. What did we close at today? 80-13. I think they're down almost 50% from this time last year. Disney was $160. They closed at 80-13 today. And their biggest thing they're hyping right now is Rachel Ziegler and the 7 Starbucks baristas for release in spring 2024 with a $500 million budget. I mean, the Marvels movie that's coming out at the end of December cost them $240 million just for production costs. That's not no advertising, no nothing, right? 200. So it's got to make back at least $500 million to turn a profit for the studio. All I see coming down the line for Disney is L after L after. And I don't know if Bob Iger has political aspirations, and so he's he wants to get wokety woke with everyone else. Good luck with that. I'm not going to see Snow White. I don't care how much money I'm not giving AMC. I'm not giving Disney a penny to see that piece of shit. Mind your tongue. Plethora of Blade says, "Damn, bro, you helped your boy out." Dude, he didn't have a choice. The neighborhood we moved into was fucking dangerous, and he had an 8-year-old son. And he was in a desperate place when he had to move out. He had to go within weeks. So he didn't do a lot of research. But it was not safe for his son to be there. So it had to be done. Had to be done. Yeah, he's my best friend, man. We were both in a bad position. It was a bad spot. Nothing you can do about it. There's no way I could have. There's no, Yeah, it was because of his kids. Now, if it was just because he wanted to move some bitch in, then we'd have a problem, right? But no, this was about his son, and that came first. The children are our future, right? These are the people we really need to be watching out for right now. The kids. Regular Potato says, "Good night, Matt. Sorry to leave, but the company meeting early in the morning. Have a good night. Regular Potato, take care, man. Thanks for coming by, hanging out. Appreciate you, bro." I think I'm getting caught up in the chat almost. Yeah, Regular Potato, hit the like on your way out if you remember, bro. Super Steven says, Massalorian and Rhetoric solved. Actor strike would be solved next week. It's looking good for new AMC investors. Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's definitely bullish things on the horizon. I wish, I wish that this, I hope this opens some doors for some more independent writers and film producers out there. To come up with some new ideas. There's a ton of people out there in the industry right now who, are making fan films and all kinds of stuff that they can do and have great ideas for screenplays and scripts and treatments. The movie industry will be just fine if you make a quality product. We've seen it happen multiple times since the pandemic. Films have hit $1.2, $1.3 billion, right? Candace says, right, Mass, leave our movies alone and make some new ones. Yeah, come on. And look, I would never want to take the opportunity away from a little black girl to see a black Little Mermaid, right? If that really makes them happy and that was something that they need to feel great and make them happy and put a smile on their face, I'm all about it. Do it, right? Do it all day long. But in the meantime, come up with some original ideas, please. Right? I don't think it's the biggest deal of stealing the Nordic tradition of Little Mermaid too woke. But I get it, right? You're trying to please, but then it's okay, so then next year, do we make a Hispanic Little Mermaid? Or in 10 years from now, actually, we probably will. Looking at the border right now, we probably will be making God damn it. All right, I'm out. I'm going to go to bed. I'm about to go fucking nuts. I'm tired, guys. It's been a hell of a night. Yeah, I don't want to go off on a tangent right now. I want to rant. I just don't need the headache. Everybody says, Mass, I'm with you. Sky D says, is the algo that was running in January and June 21 the same ones? Scotty, who knows? Who knows? I don't know, brother. I have no idea. I can't tell you. Have you seen the lines that come running out of their buildings to go into the exchange? Have you seen the heavy duty so they can get the price action like immediate and the buy and sell orders, they have like thick ass wire. It's gotta be like as thick as a watermelon running down the side of the building right into the exchange. It's nuts. I don't know in the least bit of I don't know anything about computers, Scotty D. I can barely get a live stream up and going and turn the audio on. So I have no idea, bro. I wish I could tell you. But if I had to guess, I would say they made sure that the algo never allowed January of 2021 or June of 2021 ever to happen again. Not worth the risk, right? Super Steven says, I didn't expect Grandpa to say that, but it's true. It is possible. You just got to know how to play AMC. Prometheus says, Super Steven buy and hold till the moon, baby. Are you being facetious, Prometheus? But yeah, I mean, look, again, right now at this price, AMC's like pretty much never been cheaper. I didn't even buy it this cheap back in March of 2021. I couldn't have got this cheap. So as long as they continue on an upward trend, I'm good. Like, you know, there were a couple pitfalls we had, and the strike looks like it's coming to an end. And, you know, they're closing down a certain number of theaters and opening up or taking on better locations. I think that's going to all start to add up like a snowball effect, right? It will be like quicker, right? We'll start to see results even faster and faster. Just depends how long you can hold and if you still want to, right? Dave Massaro says, hey, Mass. Dave, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat tonight. I'm Professional says it was way easier to play with Ape, though. Yeah, I mean, I heard people going crazy about Ape. There was a lot of stuff going on that I was just, you know, tuned out of. Not because I didn't want to hear it, but well, maybe I did. I don't know. Prometheus says Hopium does not pay the bills. Exactly, bro. Prometheus knows. Prometheus knows. Pam, thanks, darling. Love you too. Love you too. Professional says, I would argue Grandpa is closer to break even if you factor in super chats he gave away. That's true. I hope you're up by now, Grandpa. I hope you're not close to breaking even. Good point, though. Professional says, I'll wait for $5. If you think it's coming back down there, man, then don't spend an extra $270 to get it tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to come back down that low before it goes back up, but again, it doesn't really matter to me. As long as I feel like I can make a profit, I'm going to buy and sell and take my money. I just refuse to take another L for anyone or anything. Like I said, I will stay loyal to this community and everyone who's been rocking with me on this channel and watching me for the last 2.5 years. And I'm not going to sell any of my shares that I bought before that reverse split. They will stay there unless it's a fucking emergency. And if there is, you guys will know about it because I won't be able to live stream or make videos. So, but until then, I keep a small window of hope open that something that I'm not aware of that might be coming up might be able to catch them off guard and force a quick closeout that could drive the stock price up. And who knows what can happen at that point? I don't know. But I can't sit around anymore on my hands and not be proactive. That's not being a retail trader. Retail traders get in and out of positions unless you want to buy a stock to hold long term, like, you know, a Palantir or, you know, a company that you see going in the other direction, like that's you know, multiplying quarter over quarter with their revenue, and maybe they're thinking of, you know, Palantir. Look, so you guys know that my second biggest position is Palantir, right? Alex Karp was just out talking, and the stock's gone up like $2 in the last couple of days, and I'm like, what is it all about? I didn't see this coming. But you know, they're going to be, there's possibility after Q3 that they're going to be on the S&P 500. Now my iPad won't work. You guys see this? Look at my iPad. Now my iPad's this shit. Forget it. Forget it. What a nightmare. All right. True to form, Grandpa Barney says I'm doing great on cash today. Thank you, Grandpa. I hope so, man. I really do, because I know you've helped out my channel a ton. I mean, you basically single-handedly paid for me to get down to D for the protest. So I hope it comes back to you tenfold, my friend. And thanks for helping me realize some of my mistakes. That's the wisdom of Gen Xers, right? You might be on like the higher end, Grandpa. I mean, it's Grandpa Barney, right? So you might be on the higher end of the Gen Xers, but in my eyes, you're still Gen X. Sticking the glue, right? Yeah, thank you, Grandpa Barney. Appreciate you, man. Maybe I'll be able to use that for a new CPU. Make sure we have audio with. Why does that music sound so weird? Hold on, let's try that again. That sounds terrible. What is that? Let's try that again. Oof. All right, let's get rid of that. That sounds awful. You cannot close out a 4-hour live stream after that. But would you really be shocked if the outro played like shit as well? It is. Listen to this. Oh my God. What a disaster. All right. I'm going to bed, guys. That's it. No outro tonight. All right, Grandpa Barney. I will. I'm going to talk to Broke Ape tomorrow, and I'm going to put that in with my dry powder and make a move with it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming by and chatting with me tonight. And thanks for respecting each other and allowing each other to speak and not being, yeah, man, you guys were just awesome tonight in the chat and everyone was really cool with each other. And I appreciate that. You know, how I feel about that. And thanks to my mods for watching my back tonight. Pam, who else do we have? Prometheus was here tonight. I saw Javi was here earlier, right? I miss anybody? I hope not. Grandpa, thank you for the chat. Love you, man. And who else super chatted me tonight? Pam. Pam, thanks, darling. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you guys so much. All right. So 2 videos coming out tomorrow. I'm doing 1 video on a deep dive into the Gensler thing and my thoughts about CBDC and FTX, like a real intensive breakdown of that. And then I'm also working on the video about Disney and what they need to do to turn it around. So those will both be out tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm heading to bed. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out, and stay strong. And, you know, keep your head up. Nothing's over until you sell, and I haven't sold yet. I might just be buying some more. But yeah, it ain't over yet. You just never know what can happen. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that we'll see all-time highs someday. And if we do, I'll have the shares to sell into and get that house. All right, guys, get some rest. Big day tomorrow. Have a great night. Peace.